Hey everyone, I'm Anthony Zuzlo, broadcasting to you from a state-of-the-art studio and totally not a warehouse in Brooklyn. So I'm going to start this video off by sharing with you an ancient Buddhist riddle. Okay, so here it goes. What do you call the source of all your frustration? Babe! So let's get the introduction out of the way. Like I said, my name is Anthony Zuzlo. This is my first YouTube video on this channel. I have a writing background, mostly. Let's see. I did finish a novel. I haven't published it yet, although that's a bit weird because I'm not really a book writer. I'm more of an aspiring screenwriter or TV writer. Really, it's my dream to write movies and TV shows and then star in those movies and TV shows. Sort of like Sylvester Stallone, except when Sylvester Stallone talks, he does not mumble as much as I do. When I introduce myself to people, generally what I do is I say that I'm a writer, but really that's not what I am. Really, I'm more of a comedian. That beginning joke that I wrote that. It's not that great of a joke. It was more of an icebreaker. Because generally, if you're going to be watching this channel, you need your sense of humor if you're going to stick around. So the thing is, I am a comedian. I don't call myself a comedian because I don't feel comfortable doing that. See, because on the one hand, I feel like you should identify yourself as how your brain works. So, let's say you're a musician and you practice every day or, every other day. You always manage to, you yearn to get that practice in. You're really good at finding new melodies in your head, but you work a corporate gig. I would still say that you're a musician because that's how your mind works. On the contrary, if you maybe have a job professionally in the music industry, but you don't really have any talent, or, you don't really have passion, you just kind of want adoring fans, that sort of thing, I would say you're not really a musician. Really. If you have a brain like a detective, you're a detective in my eyes. Maybe you come home, you start dusting for fingerprints, ask your spouse where they've been, grill him.
I know you have a text from Janet. Who the hell is Janet?
Janet? She's just a girl I hired to babysit for my secret family. I have a brain that works like a comedian, so that's how I identify myself. On the opposite side of that, I do also think that comedian is a title a person has to earn. In the comedy world, you're considered unfunny until proven funny. And maybe that sounds a little harsh, but the reality is that that's how an audience is going to treat you. So, in a way, that's kind of the right attitude to have. And if I can't make people laugh, then I shouldn't be calling myself that in my eyes. I mean, luckily that's never been an issue for me, but, I am here, so I haven't had much career success yet, so maybe I haven't earned it. Anybody can come on here and claim they do comedy. No, Dave Chappelle, Jim Carrey, those guys do comedy. I'm some bastard in a dimly lit room trying to focus on this webcam instead of the flypaper that I stuck to the wall with the bugs twitching on it, screaming in agony. I don't belong in a serious conversation about comedians. When you hear the word comedian, I should not be a blip on the radar. At least yet. And can I even still make it in Hollywood these days? Because in the past, I would have been somebody that's Hollywood's, dream. I mean, I'm somebody who's funny, I'm somebody who's marketable, I want to write my own projects and star in them. I mean, that's kind of like a cha-ching for them, I would think. But, the more I look at it, the more it seems like they wouldn't accept somebody like me today. And to be fair, I would say that maybe that's always been the case, because, if you look at comedians who have the most insightful material, people like, say, George Carlin or Chris Rock, stuff that comments on society in that sort of, unique way, they don't really become stars in the mainstream, not consistently. They might get some small roles once in a while, or they might even get a starring role once in a while, but it's not like they're in tons of movies, say you would put Will Ferrell in tons of movies, or Jack Black. They're not comedy stars like that. It's really stand-ups who do more mainstream material, like, say, Ray Romano or Dana Carvey, that they're willing to let be stars in Hollywood. At least that's how I perceive it. But it's changed from that, because nowadays it seems like they really only want specific types of people in Hollywood, ones that will push out their garbage movies and say the same recycled lines to promote it. I'm not really interested in the life of just, making lousy movies just to produce movies. For whatever reason, Hollywood just doesn't seem to acknowledge the expression, when you try to please everybody, you end up pleasing nobody. We need movies that don't try to cast as wide a net as they want, because that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to get every human being to see every movie, and it's just no. As I'm recording this video, the unions for both the actors and writers in Hollywood are on strike, which I'm very conflicted about, because on the one hand, I do think that AI is just disgusting and artists shouldn't use it. Maybe in very specific circumstances, but for the most part I'm very against AI in the arts. I would say streaming residuals that actors and writers get are appalling. I would say that too few episodes for TV shows are produced, and we should move away from we should try to get back to, for some shows, a full 24 episode season, rather than we're like British TV now. What the hell is that? You get 6 episodes, 10 episodes. I mean, it's like a movie broken up into TV episodes rather than an actual TV show. But most of all, I think that when I come up with an idea, I should be making the lion's share of the money for that idea, and not somebody else. I can get the rationale where, okay, the person that put the most money into it makes the most money back, but I mean, if I had the most money, I would be putting that money in myself rather than somebody else doing it. So, it's, why should somebody make the coin off my idea, is how I feel. On the other side of it, pretty much everything that these writers and actors have been churning out in these past few years is crap. And we need a purge, unfortunately. I mean, I don't like saying that, but, I mean, if it's going to destroy the industry at the end, of course, that's what's got to happen. We got to get rid of the bad apples. At the same time, pretty much everything these writers and actors have been churning out in the past couple of years is crap. And unfortunately, we need a purge. I don't like advocating for people being ousted from their jobs, but, if audiences aren't coming back, we got to do something. Otherwise, there are no movies that inspire us and make us feel good. And that's a world that I do not want to live in. I would say that the way to draw the line is writers that don't respect the source material of what they're working on, since pretty much everything that's being produced is based on a existing property. So, I don't know, start there. Get rid of those people and people with a decent track record, keep them around and listen to their ideas. There's a lot of people in the discourse right now saying that the independent filmmaker is the way of the future. That would be great, probably, but I don't think it's true. The people that are saying that really are just people that are upset with what Hollywood is pushing, and they want Hollywood to be destroyed, and they're hoping for a way that entertainment gets decentralized. I really don't think that's going to happen. In particular, I think it's not going to happen because of one company. It's owned by Jeff Bezos. I mean, as long as John Q. Public is buying Post-it notes and romance novels off Amazon, they've always got the cash to finance whatever movie they want. And that's good, because even if Hollywood crumbles, then there'll always be some company that's making big budget movies. They won't go away forever. The issue with that would be then that Amazon would be the only company that you could make big budget movies with. You would have to go through them. Like, every artist in the world that has an idea for a movie that requires millions and millions of dollars would need to go through their company to make that movie, and they're only going to make so much a year, maybe like 3-ish, so that's not good in that way. Because if people are making indie films, it would pretty much be we would have to finance our low-budget indie films ourselves. Obviously, that's a huge undertaking. I mean, most of us aren't Robert Rodriguez, and we can't make a movie for $7,000 in 1991 money, so, yeah, that's not feasible. Just watch any of these indie films that make it onto these streaming services. Like, I'm not saying that you have to tolerate crap, but there's a lot of just low quality things that you have to just be willing to go through and watch for an indie movie. I would say Hollywood's main problem is the problem with most mainstream businesses today, which is that, low quality products. They've watered down their products so much that people associate it with being crap, and they don't want to buy their products anymore. I would say it's doubtful that Hollywood is going anywhere, but with all the strike nonsense going around, who knows? Maybe Hollywood can implode. It's not impossible, as unlikely as I think it is. And even if Hollywood itself doesn't go away, what I want to do within Hollywood is already kind of gone. They don't really make sitcoms or comedy movies anymore. Comedy's kind of just snuck into other genres. I mean, can you, off the top of your head, can you think of any comedy that you saw in the last few years in a movie theater? I don't think you can. If you've been watching comedies, it's probably ones that just kind of popped up on Netflix or Hulu or wherever they pop up, and you watch them once and then you forget about them. There's no classic comedy movies being made that stay in our hearts forever. And I don't even know if, great movies are staying with us now. It could just be a consequence of our culture. Like, Everything Everywhere All at Once is probably one of the greatest movies I've ever seen, but, do we have that space in our hearts or minds for it like we do for, say, I don't know, Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, for Blues Brothers, The Jerk, Anchorman? I mean, I guess time will tell, but as of right now, maybe it's because I haven't talked to anybody about the movie and I just know about it from what I watched when I was on a plane, but yeah, it doesn't seem like comedies have that, or any movies have that sort of staying power within our hearts anymore. Now I figure I'll start my YouTube channel, then maybe if I get enough of you guys to like me and follow me, I can have a decent enough subscriber base that I can publish that novel that I wrote. And then from there I can go into all sorts of other avenues that I might want to go to. Probably stay with YouTube, but go those other avenues as well. I could probably get back into stand-up. I can maybe just hire people to make video games that I have ideas for, because I can picture the video games in my head. I get a lot of ideas, but I don't really have the technical skill to make those, so I would like to hire a team to do that, maybe. Or maybe I could, I have also lots of ideas for comic books, and the comic book industry definitely needs a shot in the arm, to be honest. I get so many ideas that I don't think I'll ever get started in a creative sense. Like, just yesterday I got an idea for a video game, but it's just that I'm not at a level where I can accomplish my goals by myself, so I need to build myself up first before I can do anything like that. And I would love to do a trilogy of Zelda movies. I would love that so much. For all you people who are trying to get that to be a thing, a Zelda movie, you're falling into a trap, because those movies would be fucking horrible under normal Hollywood. I know you might think that they're going to be good because you liked the Mario movie, but really, animation and live action are two separate things, and that would probably be a live action movie, and that would just be plagued by all the other bad decisions that Hollywood's making these days. I mean, think about it. Like, if they did a Zelda movie today, Zelda and Link would very likely be played by Rachel Zegler and Kristen Stewart. Think about it. You know that's the case. Like, if you really know in your heart, like, they wouldn't not do that. And I'm so upset because we just learned that Charles Martinet, who's been doing the voice of Mario, he's not going to be doing the voice anymore. And, I mean, I don't want to make you feel bad, but I gotta say, if you're somebody who went to see the Super Mario Bros. Movie and you knew that he wasn't going to be the voice of Mario, you kind of paved the way for this, I feel. And I think you helped make that change, and I think that Hollywood is the type of beast that sees that you accepted that change, and then for Zelda and all these other properties that you might enjoy, they will look at those properties and go, oh, well, we can get away with changing whatever we want because they accepted that change. So trust me, you do not want a Zelda movie right now. I think what you want is for a fan like me to helm those movies and to have a lot of decision-making power in making those movies. Now, that's not how Hollywood really makes any movie. Generally, it's the more money that they put towards a project, the more the studio sticks their dick in it, and that kind of thing. But, yeah, I'm just saying, in theory, you do want a fan of the property who's going to bolster that enjoyment for you. Clearly I'm biased, but, you know, that's what I believe. But those Zelda dreams will have to wait, because for now the focus is YouTube. I could have used YouTube as my platform for probably 15 years now. I just never did. I would say it's a lot easier to get started on YouTube these days than it ever was before. Because back when YouTube first came out, there wasn't a webcam directly on the computer that you're using on most computers, and now you can just upload video pretty easily. You also couldn't edit as easily. I still can't edit. I mean, I could do it passively, but I'm gonna have somebody help me with these videos, very likely. He's a cool guy, so I'm glad he agreed to do this for me. Although, really, if I do have those roadblocks with editing and other technological issues, whatever kind of issues, I would say it's really my responsibility to learn those things if nobody will help me, and I have to knock those barriers out of place. But I would say I am this is a first step towards going toward the top. But the question is, do I even want to go to the top anymore? You know, when you're a kid and you have all these dreams about being famous, you picture yourself getting there and everybody loving you for it and loving the work that you make. I would say that as you get older, you kind of just don't want that as much, and you kind of maybe want a simpler life. But how do you do that when you want to work in that field? You know, because that's just what happens if you write and star your own movies. You get that even if you don't want it. I would say fame in general also is just not what it used to be, because I do make a lot of jokes that are considered offensive by modern standards, and fame might just end up being a target on my back. In recent years, I've heard the quote, it was something along the lines of, seeking fame for love is sort of like overeating to combat starvation. And when I heard that quote, I gotta admit I felt it a little bit. If I ever lost the ability to just walk around in public like a regular person, I think I would go nuts, because I love New York City and I love walking around the city, so it would be saying goodbye to a thing that I love for hopefully something else that yields just as much love or more. So it's kind of a gamble, basically. So while I do want to be a normal person, I also have a disgust for wasted talent, and I have that hole in my heart that needs to be filled by artistic expression and the love and recognition that comes with it. So while I do want to be a normal person, I also am a person who has a disgust for wasted talent, and I also have a hole in my heart that I think can only be filled by expressing myself in an artistic way, and by getting love and recognition for that art, particularly by you bottom feeders out there. It's the modern world we live in that makes that choice a lot tougher. I'm a guy who just wants to tell jokes. What I don't want is a reputation for being the devil for telling those jokes. People complain that others are just way too easily offended these days. I would argue that offended people have always existed. It's just that we used to put them in place as the buzzkills that they were, and that they're more organized now, and that makes it seem like they're more abundant than they really are. Because most people really do they're tired of all this crap and they just want something that makes them feel happy and good. And comedy and humor are a way to do that, but people are a little afraid to be seen laughing now. And that's kind of fucked up. So here's what being a comedian is like in the modern era. So a couple years ago, a scumbag by the name of Jeffrey Epstein was found dead in his prison cell. And a lot of people found that suspicious. It was part of the national discourse whether or not he killed himself or he was murdered to cover something up. I don't want to get into that. But around the same time, Planters, the nut company, they were running an ad campaign where they decided to kill off their mascot, Mr. Peanut. So I made this meme that's on the screen. So I made this meme to make my friends laugh. Now, I didn't catch any shit for this meme because nobody knows who I am. But I can very easily imagine people seeing this and just going fucking crazy because of it. Sorry. Now, I didn't catch any shit for this meme because nobody knows who I am. But I can very easily picture people losing their fucking minds over it if it had been seen. There would be all sorts of paranoid nuts, no pun intended, just losing it, accusing me of just, yeah, you're a conspiracy theorist who thinks the Clintons went back in time and killed Kennedy. It's like, no, it's just a joke. I just wanted to make people laugh, and I'm not pushing any opinion. I just wanted to paint a silly picture in your head about a cartoon character self-harming. Like, isn't it a little bit funny? You picture Mr. Peanut, and he's got a noose, and he puts it around himself, and he's trying to do himself in, but he can't find his neck. Or maybe Mr. Peanut just takes a hammer, whacks himself in the skull with it, and you can see pieces of his brain through the shell. That's a humorous picture to me because of the cartoonish violence. I don't want to explain it because it makes it less funny, but most people would chuckle a little bit at it. I really don't think it's that complicated. It was meant to entertain, not to piss off strangers. And those strangers, they sometimes will let you have it. And it hurts when strangers say those nasty things to you while you're trying to be humorous. It does hurt, but you can, for the most part, kind of like brush it off in those circumstances. You can tell yourself that, they didn't really have the full story, and if they knew you, they wouldn't get so enraged, or maybe they were just having a bad day about something else and they're taking it out on you, that sort of thing. I would say what really hurts, like, a lot, is your friends just starting shit with you over jokes. Now, I'm a bit old school, and I've always valued friendship, like placed a high value on it. I think that a friend is supposed to stick up for you in bad situations, or at the very least not make your pain worse. Let's say you're a singer, and your friends know that you're a singer, and you go and post a video of your singing online. Your friends aren't going to start bashing you over that singing. Even if they think it's terrible singing, they're just going to keep that to themselves. If you're a comedian, your friends will have no qualms, at least some of them, about letting you know how horrible you were and making you feel like the world's biggest scumbag for at least the rest of the day. It'll just bother the fuck out of you. Like, I've had friends who are my best friends make me feel horrible over jokes. And horrible to the point where I kind of want to give up. And I don't think a friend is supposed to do that. I think human beings in general are supposed to just choose to be kind. And for a friend to not do that, that's just awful. So, I mean, I don't know. Between that and having to worry about people attacking you physically over jokes, it's just like, you kind of have to be crazy to want to be a comedian these days. For real, I'm about to start the trend of comedians having both a bottle of water and nunchucks on that stool that you see. To be clear, this is not an anti-woke channel. At least not really. But I will be criticizing them, so hopefully my home address is not easy to find. No, they're probably not gonna like me that much. Neither are any extremists. I hate extremists in all forms, and they'll be criticized as well. So what type of channel is this then? I would say that it is a humor channel, where the comedy is probably going to take the center stage. But it's not just going to be a humor channel, it's also going to be I'm going to define it as a self-help channel, and I'm going to call it a self-exploration channel. So what does that mean? I would say that the heart of this channel is going to be me sharing stories about my life, giving my opinions about things, and talking about life experiences. And it's my hope that through those, I can then maybe help you with certain things. I mean, it can't be a bad idea starting a YouTube channel based on oversharing and bashing my parents, can it? I sure hope I can help you, because if you're like me, you just feel doomed. Like, everything sucks now. We've let the worst people take control of everything. You can't buy anything without spending more money than it's worth. You can't go on a date because everybody you find is just some, like, self-absorbed lemming. I mean, I'm going off script here a little bit, but, you know, just this week, me personally, I'm dealing with the voice of Mario leaving, and he was a source of joy since my childhood. One of the few people that I was interested in, I'm pretty sure they just got married, and I mean, even though I know that wouldn't have worked out, really, I mean, I can't just flip a switch and just not be upset about it. Just yesterday, I found out that the only thing that I do once a month, this only event that I go to where I socialize, that's probably going to be done by the time you watch this video. And I don't really have any coworkers, so like the only socialization I have is just me passing by other New Yorkers in the street. What else? There's the Hollywood strikes making the future unclear for me, and like they just rejected an offer that seemed pretty reasonable to me. And to top that all off, I'm pretty sure I have to get a second job so I can hire people to help me make these videos. So it's like a perfect shitstorm, and most of us have those kind of weeks where you're just in a perfect shitstorm and you're like, I'm just picturing myself as a captain on a boat in a tornado of feces, just being like, oh, better not get hit in the face today, because the storms are coming. And that's just the bad stuff that's happening now. I mean, when you look to the future, things are about to get way worse on this planet. If there even is a planet. We don't exactly take care of the one that we have now. Don't worry, though. Once we ravage your state's natural beauty, you can just pack up and move to an exotic island made of plastic in the middle of the ocean. Now, with all this happening, all this crap around you, everyone's miserable, you just start asking yourself questions, and you just want to cry out, why isn't somebody doing something about this? Like, if we're all unhappy, shouldn't somebody be working on this problem? Shouldn't somebody try to fix it? Can't the people who want to compromise and come together, can't they forge something to make the world good again? I mean, we need that right now because there's just too much shit. Now here's the ugly truth, though. We're the cause of the problem. Which means if we want to solve this problem, we have to be the ones to get it solved. Overall, you watch me, you're probably a decent guy or girl. But none of us are perfect. And we tend to attract whatever vibes we send out. So if we want things to be good, we ourselves have to be good. Now, I'm not going to sugarcoat everything for you while you're watching this channel. I very likely will say something that upsets you. And in that moment where I say that, I too will become one of the things in this world that you consider shit. But I want you to keep in mind that I'm not trying to do that. I'm just trying to be honest, and as the saying goes, the truth hurts. So there will probably be times where I come off as a big fat hypocrite. In those cases, I would like to remind you that I'm a human being, so of course I am. I talked about movies at the beginning of this video, but that's really to get the introductions out of the way. That other stuff is really what the crux of this channel is going to be. And also, at the end of the videos, I'm generally going to give you an invitation for you to improve. Okay, and after you do that, I would like you to think about a time when you were being crappy. and think about what was going through your mind, and once you realize that, I want you to ask yourself what it would take for you to stop doing that. Because you'll never stop being crappy 100% of the time, but if you curtail your crappy behavior, then I don't exactly believe in karma, but I do think that, again, we do attract similar vibes to ourselves, and you're more likely to have good things coming your way. So if you don't do that first thing, or that second thing, if you find that's too hard for you, I don't know why it would be, but for some people it is, I guess, do something that's even the most microscopic good deed. Like just maybe put the cart back at the grocery store, maybe just pick up a piece of trash off the floor. Just do something. And as microscopic and insignificant as that is, the thing is, if you do that, you've made the world just like a tiny bit better. And isn't knowing you made the world the tiniest bit better, like, fill you with satisfaction? I mean, I don't really think about it day to day. I mean, I do those sorts of things, but I don't know. They make me feel good about myself, so maybe it'll make you feel good about yourself. So I hope you do something like that. And I think if you do something like that once, and then you do it again, and then you do it again, maybe it's a new habit, and you have more good things coming your way. At least that's what I hope for you. And together, if you do a small little thing like that, and somebody else does a small little thing like that, and somebody else, it creates a snowball, and then all those things that made the world a little bit better made the world even better than that. So that's how we get that's how I think we get to a better world. Because at the rate we're going, like, we're just doomed, and we just need to like each other again and get along and stop society from breaking down, because destruction isn't the way to go. We need compromise. Compromise is better than doom. We need to be better. So that's it for this video. I hope I made a good first impression. A decent one, at least. I know if you watch any YouTuber's first video, it's usually kind of crappy, and they do get better over time, so I think I can get better over time as well. This is not the first take of the video, so just, and this is better than the other ones that I did, so I think I'm already kind of improving. So I think we can all improve together is one of the themes of this channel, so that's good. There's lots of talk on the internet that there's no good male role models out there. I don't think that's me. I think I'm for everyone, but I don't know, I guess if somebody needs to step up and fill the role, I can do that. Anyway, yeah, I didn't think of a way to end these videos, and I should really have a sign-off line. I don't know, I guess, if you like the video, leave a thoughtful, insightful comment down below that's not going to piss the other people in the comment section off, or me, preferably. I don't want to get pissed off, like my friends that I was talking about earlier. If you think that you want to keep hearing more, you can subscribe. You can subscribe to this channel. And if you want to help me move to a deluxe apartment in the sky, there's probably a Patreon link at the end of this video. Remember, try to be the best version of yourself, and thanks for tuning in. Bye.